Welcome to the deep dive.
Hi there.
So today we've got this interesting collection of materials, professional background info, references, some third-party takes, all zeroing in on one person, Janne Uusilehto.
Yeah, and let's get the name right from the start. It's Janne Uusilehto.
It's important, I think, because understanding the name is just the first step to understanding someone who's had, well, a really significant impact on tech security and privacy, often behind the scenes.
Exactly. Our mission here is to unpack what makes him, a transformative figure. We want to highlight that forward-looking approach he seems to have, the unique stuff he's done, and why that makes him such a strong potential asset for, well, future leadership roles.
Right. He's described as someone who goes where others aren't looking yet. That's a theme that comes up.
Okay.
The sources sketch out this career, like over 20 years in tech. Big names, Nokia, Microsoft, Google, leadership roles.
But it's more than just the job titles, isn't it? It seems to be about the foundational work, the industry-wide things he got going. Definitely. Let's maybe start with Nokia. That was a long stint, something like 1998 to 2014.
Yeah, ending up as director, head of product security globally. The sources suggest this wasn't just managing people. It was driving new stuff, education, better processes for products hitting, what, over 1 billion people. Huge scale.
And what's really key from that time, based on this analysis, is the security groundwork. Think Symbian OS, Nokia OS. His team actually built the world's largest deployed public key infrastructure for signing smartphone software.
Okay, PKI, that's a system with digital certificates, encryption keys, verifying software, right?
Exactly. And building the biggest one for smartphones back then. That was a massive undertaking, sort of pioneering work.
And this ties into something really critical the sources keep hitting on, how the mobile world kind of dodged the bullet the PC world took with malware.
Right. Even when smartphones became always on, always connected, that product security culture, the Tech Jans team, pushed at Nokia things like early ideas around what we now call trusted execution environments, or TEEs.
That secure area on the chip.
Yeah, that secure zone. The sources really argue that this foresight, these specific implementations, they were fundamental in stopping that massive malware wave before it could even really start on phones.
And that protection, that foundation, it's still benefiting us today on our current smartphones. That's quite a legacy.
It really points to that forward-looking thing again. He was chairing the Trusted Computing Group's mobile working group, led the effort for the first global standard for the Mobile Trusted Module, MTM.
TCG sets hardware security standards, right? And MTM gives phones a secure identity.
Precisely. And that standard is now part of international ISO standards. He was deep into device integrity, secure hardware, way ahead of the curve, really anticipating needs.
And it wasn't just internal Nokia stuff. He was out there, global platform, safe code, digital Europe, pushing collaboration, standards across the whole industry, even talking to governments.
Then the career pivots, right. Microsoft, nearly 5 years, focus shifts heavily to privacy compliance, specifically for Azure Cloud.
Yeah, the sources mention him personally reviewing and signing off on, like, over 600 Azure product privacy reviews every year.
That's intense, but also redesigning privacy programs basically from the ground up in that huge, complex cloud setting. That's not just reviewing, that's building.
And then Google, another 5+ years as cloud privacy lead. Here, the analysis highlights another transformation he led.
Moving from just reacting, reviewing stuff to a much more automated, risk-based approach, guiding, 20,000 engineers? Affecting over 2 billion customers.
And getting those big privacy certifications nailed down, ISO 27701, the EU Cloud Code of Conduct. Serious, rigorous stuff.
So you see this journey, right? Deep mobile security, hardware, software, then shifting to this large-scale cloud privacy and compliance leadership. It's a fantastic example of continuous learning.
That really comes through in the sources, this eagerness to really get new tech, new industry shifts.
Exactly. And that drive, plus the ability to connect the super technical details with, practical, huge-scale execution, that seems to be why he's been so impactful across these different fields. References call him deeply knowledgeable, an inspirational mentor, always building up his team's abilities.
Okay, so let's try and boil it down. What the sources seem to show is this really quite rare mix. Deep tech know-how, strategic industry leadership, and this constant push to adapt and secure whatever's next, from phones to the cloud.
Yeah, a proven track record of building critical things from scratch, turning around complex programs, leading these big industry efforts.
All while staying committed to learning and inspiring others. For any company looking for top-tier leadership in security engineering, privacy engineering, or compliance, well, the picture painted here is pretty compelling. someone who builds success.
He seems to be the kind of leader who doesn't just react. He anticipates. He sets the direction, often seeing challenges before they become mainstream problems.
So here's something to think about. In this world where digital threats just keep changing, keep growing, what's the real value of a leader whose early work arguably saved smartphones from a potential disaster and who's now shaping how we handle security and privacy in the cloud? What's that foresight worth?
A very potent question to leave things on.